All right, so today we are diving into Long Island behavioral health, deep beyond their website. You know, like what is it really like to be a client there, to experience them as a practice?
Yeah, what's the story behind the website? Like, what's the vibe?
Yeah.
What are they really about?
Okay, so first impressions, just looking at their website, I have to say, it's not like other mental health websites. It doesn't feel like, oh no, I need therapy. It's very friendly. It feels good. It's not clinical and scary.
I was going to say, it doesn't have that sterile feel that a lot of medical websites can have.
Yeah.
And they actually say that, you know, multiple times on the website, they emphasize comfortable and relaxed. Like, that's important to them. The clients feel that way.
I love that. And you know what else I love? Speaking of like making things easier, they have telehealth and in-person sessions.
Oh, the options.
Which is amazing.
That's fantastic. Because, you know, not everybody's comfortable going in person.
Right.
Especially these days, and not everybody can.
Yeah.
You know, so that's...
Accessibility is key.
Yeah.
And I noticed, too, that, like, their appointment times seem pretty flexible.
That's huge.
Which is really nice for busy people.
Especially if you're, you know, juggling work or kids or...
Life.
Okay,
let's talk about their team.
Okay.
Because this is where things get really interesting. You've got your LCSWs, your LMSWs, even an MHCLP.
It's a mouthful.
Okay, well, for those of us who don't speak therapists, what does that even mean?
All right, so you're going to see those letters a lot on websites, and it can be very confusing.
Yeah.
So an LCSW, that's a licensed clinical social worker.
Okay.
That means they have a master's degree, and they've done a certain number of supervised hours.
Gotcha.
An LMSW is a licensed master social worker, so they're still working towards that LCSW.
Okay.
And then MHCLP is a little different. That's a licensed mental health counselor.
So different type of training, but still
somewhat, but
rigorous and licensed by the state.
Exactly.
So it sounds like they've got someone for like every flavor of need.
Absolutely. That's what you want to see, right?
Yes.
Because mental health is not one size fits all.
No, it's not.
And you want to make sure that you're seeing somebody who, you know, has experience with what you're going through.
And this is going to sound really random.
Okay.
But they have Ossis dogs.
Yes.
2 of them.
I know we have to talk about Smurf and finally cockapoo puppies in training to be therapy dogs.
Who doesn't love a cockapoo puppy?
I know, right?
G would go there just for that.
Honestly, for the puppy therapy.
Right?
Sign me up.
But seriously, like what a brilliant thing to incorporate. Because even if they're not like doing official therapy dog things yet.
Right.
Just having them around...
The presence
can be so calming.
Absolutely.
It just adds to that whole welcoming vibe that they have going on.
Totally. And it shows that they're really thinking about the client experience.
Yeah.
So like they're going the extra mile to make it as comfortable as possible.
Okay. And can we also talk about the fact that they have a reduced fee program?
Yes.
Because that's huge. Not every practice does that.
Not at all. And I think that really speaks to their commitment to accessibility.
Yes.
Because therapy is expensive.
It is.
And not everybody can afford it.
Yes.
And they clearly recognize that.
So that's really good to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so they seem to have like the whole vibe thing down.
Yeah.
They have a great team.
Yeah.
But let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
What do they actually offer?
Let's do it.
So they've got everything from anxiety and depression support, which, you know, that's kind of like bread and butter for...
Yeah, the classics.
But then they get into some really specialized stuff, like EMDR therapy.
Oh, yeah, EMDR.
Okay, I'll be honest. I don't fully understand what that is.
So EMDR stands for eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing.
Okay.
Catchy, right?
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. It's basically a way to help people process trauma.
Okay.
So if you've experienced something really difficult or traumatic in your life, EMDR can help you kind of reprocess those memories and those feelings in a safe and controlled environment.
So it's not just talking it through?
It's not just talk therapy. Yeah. It's a very specific technique that involves eye movements or other kinds of bilateral stimulation.
Interesting.
And it's been shown to be really effective for things like PTSD, anxiety, depression.
That's incredible. So if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I have PTSD from this thing that happened. Yeah. They could potentially really benefit from EMDR.
Absolutely. And LIBH offers it.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got EMDR. What else is on the menu?
Let's see. They also offer CBT.
Oh, CBT.
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Oh, that's another one of those therapy buzzwords.
It's everywhere these days.
What does it actually mean?
So CBT is all about the connection between your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors.
Okay.
It's like a three-way street.
I'm listening.
So the idea is that our thoughts influence our feelings,
Yes.
which influence our behaviors,
Right.
and vice versa.
Okay.
So if we can learn to identify and change those negative thought patterns,
Yeah.
we can actually start to feel better and behave differently.
So instead of just feeling stuck.
Exactly.
So you're like rewiring your brain.
You're rewiring those neural pathways.
I like it.
Yeah. And it gives you practical tools that you can use in your everyday life.
And it's not just for adults, right?
No, they offer CBT for adults, children, and adolescents.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because kids these days especially, they need
They have their own set of challenges.
so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they've got the services.
Yeah.
We talked about the team a little bit.
Mm.
But I feel like we need to put some faces to the names here.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, therapy is about connecting with another human being.
Right.
So let's meet the people behind the website.
Okay. You ready to play Meet the Therapist?
I'm ready. Let's do it. All right. So first up, we've got Lisa Beneventano.
Okay.
She's an LCSW.
LCSW, check.
And she's been working with families for over a decade.
Wow.
So she's seen it all.
That's a lot of family dynamics.
Right. And her bio specifically mentions experience with depression, anxiety, stress, trauma.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Big ones. And especially when you're talking about families, those things can really impact everyone.
Totally. It's like a ripple effect.
It's exactly.
Okay, so Lisa sounds like she knows her stuff. What about this John Lynch I'm seeing here?
Okay, so John is also an LCSW.
Another LCSW.
But what caught my eye about his bio was he describes his approach as lighthearted but structured.
Okay, I like that because sometimes you need a little levity.
Right, because therapy can be heavy.
It can be.
So it's nice to know that you can, have a laugh, maybe when appropriate.
A little humor goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. Who else we got? Oh, David Morgan.
Okay, so David is the director of LIBH.
Fancy.
And he is an LCSWR.
A what?
LCSW. It's like an LCSW, but with even more training and experience.
So like the advanced level.
The advanced level, the Jedi Master of Social Work.
I like it.
And he's also a CMF.
Okay, now you're just messing with me. What is that?
Okay, not messing with you. CMF stands for Certified Anger Management Facilitator.
Ah, that makes sense.
Which makes sense given his role as director.
Right, he's got to be able to handle those tough conversations.
Exactly. Conflict resolution, all that good stuff.
It sounds like he's got the experience and the qualifications to handle just about anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the younger generation.
Yes, because kids need therapy too.
Oh, absolutely. And LIBH has a couple therapists who specialize in working with children and teens.
Okay, who are we talking about?
So first we have Stephanie Thode. She's an LMSW, and she has experience with individual, group, and family therapy.
Wow, she's like a triple threat.
I know, right? She can do it all. And I think that's so important because sometimes kids might benefit from one-on-one therapy.
Right.
But sometimes they really thrive in a group setting.
Where they can like connect with other kids who get it.
Exactly. And learn from each other and realize they're not alone.
Okay, so Stephanie sounds amazing. What about this Monique Moretta I'm seeing?
Okay, so Monique is also an LMSW.
Okay.
And her bio really stood out to me because she specifically mentions working with children, adolescents, and families who are going through some really difficult stuff.
Like what?
So things like grief and loss, trauma, attachment issues.
Those are tough topics for anyone to deal with, let alone...
Especially kids.
Kids, yeah.
So it's great to see that LIBH has someone with that kind of expertise.
It is. And you know what else is great?
What's that?
Those cockapoo puppies.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Smurf and finally...
We have to circle back to them.
I'm obsessed.
Because even if you're not seeing them specifically for animal-assisted therapy,
right,
just having them around the office can make such a difference.
Absolutely. It just creates that warm and fuzzy feeling.
Exactly.
And it shows that they're really thinking outside the box when it comes to creating a welcoming environment.
Okay, so we've still got a few more team members to meet.
I do.
Including a couple with backgrounds in mental health counseling.
Yes.
But we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back with more from Long Island Behavioral Health.
And we are back with the LIBH Dream Team.
All right, so we left off with the puppy therapy.
Always a good place to pick back up.
So next on our list, we've got Megan Walsh.
Okay, tell me about Megan.
She's an MHCLP. She's got a really interesting background working with children and adolescents on the autism spectrum.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's so important because finding a therapist who really gets autism can be life-changing for families. Absolutely. And it's not always easy to find someone with that specialized experience.
No, it's not. So tell me a little bit more about Megan's background.
So she's worked in a bunch of different settings, like residential inpatient, and even schools.
Oh, wow. So she's seen it all.
She's got that well-rounded experience, which is so valuable, I think.
It shows that she's not just treating a diagnosis, she's treating a whole person.
Exactly, in the context of their life.
Yes. Okay, who else is on the team? Because we're not done yet, are we?
Not even close.
Okay.
All right, next up we've got Marissa Morgan.
Okay, Marissa?
She's an LCSW.
LCSW check.
With over a decade of experience. And her bio really jumped out at me because she's worked with people facing some really tough challenges.
Like what kind of challenges?
So we're talking things like severe mental illness, substance abuse disorders.
Wow, that takes a special kind of therapist to handle those situations.
It does. It takes a lot of compassion, a lot of expertise.
And I see here that she's trained in crisis intervention and suicide prevention.
That's right.
So she's really equipped to handle those really intense, high-needs cases.
Absolutely. She's on the front lines.
But she also does individual, family, couples, group therapy.
She does it all.
So she's like the superhero of therapy.
She's got all the tools in her tool belt.
I love it. Okay, so we've got Megan Marissa, oh my gosh, and then there's Caitlin McCormack.
Yes, Caitlin.
Who is an MHCLP with a background in holistic health and wellness.
Okay, that's so cool. I love that she brings that perspective to her work.
Me too. Because it's not just about what's going on in your head, right?
It's about the whole picture, mind, body, spirit.
Yes, and I see here that she's a certified yoga instructor. Yes, so I'm wondering if she incorporates mindfulness techniques or anything like that into her therapy sessions.
I would bet money on it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of thing that can really make a difference for people.
Totally. It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly. And you know what? Before we wrap things up, I have to give a shout out to Nicolette DePaul.
Oh, yes.
Their intake coordinator and biller.
She's awesome.
Because she's actually pursuing her master's degree right now.
She is.
To become a therapist.
So she's really passionate about this field.
Clearly. And you know what? I think that's so important because the intake process, the whole figuring out insurance and billing and all that.
It's a lot.
It can be so overwhelming.
Especially when you're already feeling vulnerable.
Exactly. Yeah. So to have someone like Nicolette, who's so warm and welcoming and knowledgeable.
And she has a background in child life and mentoring. So she's used to working with people from all walks of life.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's a great asset to the team.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into Long Island behavioral health, I have to say I'm impressed.
Me too.
They've got the services, the team, the whole vibe.
They got it going on.
They really do.
Yeah.
So if you are in the market for mental health support,
yeah,
LIBH is definitely worth checking out.
100%.
But you know what? Even beyond LIBH,
yeah,
just a reminder that finding the right therapist is a personal journey.
It is.
Don't be afraid to shop around, ask questions. Trust your gut.
You got to find that right fit.
You do, because at the end of the day, it's about your mental health.
Your well-being.
And that's priceless.
Absolutely.
So on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you on our next adventure in knowledge seeking.